Hi everyone, I'm Vincent from Grade 2 and my teammates are Johan, Chloe, Sabina and Mohan. We have prepared a video to share some information with fellow classmates and our selected topic is the respiratory system. The lungs are a pair of pyramid-shaped organs located on either side of the chest. They have a spongy texture and are pinkish gray in color. The lungs bring oxygen into the body when breathing in and send carbon dioxide out of the body when breathing out. They add oxygen to the blood and remove carbon dioxide in a process called gas exchange. Carbon dioxide is a waste gas produced by the cells of the body. The lungs are covered by a thin tissue layer called the pleura, which act as a lubricant, allowing the lungs to slip smoothly as they expand and contract with each breath. In this slide, I'm going to briefly talk about the functions of three different organs, which are alveoli, bronchus, and bronchioles. The first one is alveoli. The main function of alveoli is to exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide to and from the bloodstream. During inhalation, alveoli expand as the negative pressure in the chest is created by contraction of the diaphragm. While during exhalation, the alveoli recoil as the diaphragm relaxes. The second one is bronchus. The function of bronchus is as passageway for air to travel from the mouth and trachea down to the alveoli and back out of the body. Bronchus are lined with a mucous membrane that provides an important barrier to inhaled pathogens that can help prevent infections from taking hold. The last one is bronchioles. The bronchioles carry oxygen into the lungs and carry carbon dioxide out of the lungs, thereby aiding in the processes of breathing and respiration. They also serve as a transition between the large cartilage-supported bronchi that enters the lung and the tiny alveolar ducts that connect directly to the alveoli.
Hi everyone, now I'm going to talk about the anatomy of lungs. The lungs are a pair of spongy, air-filled organs located slightly towards the posterior part of the human body and below the collarbone, extending down towards the diaphragm. The right lung is larger than the left lung. The right lung has 3 lobes, whereas the left lung has only 2 lobes. The very top part of the lung is called superior lobe, and then the middle one is called middle lobe. The bottom one is called inferior lobe. The lungs are covered by a thin tissue layer called pleura. It is also the same kind of thin tissue lines the inside of the chest cavity. It acts as a lubricant, allowing the lungs to slip smoothly as they expand and contract with each breath. The lungs receive deoxygenated blood from pulmonary artery and oxygenated blood from bronchial artery. That's it from me. Sabrina will continue with the next part. Thank you.
Now we are going to look at the structures of the lungs. Firstly, the trachea, commonly known as the windpipe, is a tube about 4 inches and less than 1 inch in diameter. The trachea starts just below the larynx and descends behind the breastbone. The average length of the trachea is about 11.8 centimeters, and the male's trachea is typically longer than a female's. The trachea is made up of about 20 strong cartilage rings. The back part of each ring consists of muscle and connective tissue. The inside of the trachea is moist, smooth tissue called mucosal lines. With each breath-in, the trachea enlarges and lengthens slightly, returning to its resting size with each breath-out. The primary function of the trachea is to carry air from and into the lungs. One person would not be able to breathe without a trachea. The trachea is also lined with tiny hair-like structures called cilia. These help push mucus that contains debris or pathogens out of the trachea. The trachea also helps regulate the temperature of the air coming in and out of the lungs. On cold days, the trachea helps warm and provide humidity to the air before it reaches the lungs. On hot days, the trachea helps cool the air through evaporation. Secondly, bronchioles, which is part of lower breathing system. As they branch off from the bronchi, they get smaller and smaller, traversing each lung's interior until ending up in alveoli clusters. These are three styles categorized according to size. Lobular bronchioles, larger passages that first enter the loops of the lungs. Terminal bronchioles, 50 to 80 smaller passages in each lung. Respiratory bronchioles, 2 or more branches from each terminal that in turn lead to 2 to 10 alveolar ducts. The bronchioles themselves are tiny, ranging from 0.3 to 1 millimeter in diameter. Bronchioles rely on bundles of protein fibers called elastin to hold their shape by anchoring themselves into lung tissue. Lastly, alveoli are smaller air sacs in your lungs that take up the oxygen you breathe in and keep the body moving. At the end of the bronchial tubes, you have around 480 million of alveoli. The alveoli expand as you breathe in to take in oxygen. The alveoli are just 1 cell wide, allowing the carbon dioxide and oxygen to pass fairly quickly between the alveoli and the blood vessels called capillaries. Alveoli are the origin of the breathing mechanism that starts when we inhale air through the mouth or nose. The oxygen-rich air flows down the trachea, then through the right or left bronchus, through one of the two lungs. Alveoli are lined by a fluid layer known as a surfactant, which preserves the air sac's shape and surface tension. Oxygen molecule diffuse through a single cell in an alveolus and then single cell in a capillary to enter the bloodstream. At the same time, carbon dioxide molecules, a byproduct of cellular respiration, are diffused back into the alveolus where they are expelled out of the body through the nose or mouth.
Histology of the lungs. The lung is one of several organs that packs a large epithelial surface area into a compact volume. The basic organizational pattern is that of a gland, in which a branching tree of tubes provides continuity from the body's outside surface to a vast number of epithelial cells. The lungs are covered by the serous membrane, the pleural membrane, which has two layers, the parietal and the visceral layer. The visceral pleura of the lung is lined by a mesothelial layer with underlying connective tissue and elastic fibers. Please refer to the diagram on the left. Trachea. The wall of the trachea is composed of a mucosa, submucosa, cartilaginous layer, and adventitia. The lamina propria of the mucosa contains many elastic fibers. The respiratory mucosa is made up of the epithelium and supporting lamina. The epithelium is tall, columnar, pseudostratified with cilia and goblet cells. The goblet cells secrete mucus, which forms a blanket over the tops of the ciliated cells. The regular coordinated beating of the cilia sweeps the mucus up and out of the airways, carrying any debris that is stuck to it. Alveoli. The alveoli consists of an extremely thin epithelial layer. It is surrounded by many capillaries, the smallest type of blood vessel. There are two major types of epithelial cells found in alveoli. Type 1, squamous alveolar. They form the structure of an alveolar wall. They are extremely thin and permeable, which facilitates gas exchange with the capillaries. Type 2, great alveolar. They are the site of surfactant production in the lungs, making them critical for maintaining the elastic recoil of the lung. They are more common than type 1 cells and can undergo mitosis.
During this challenging time that the world is currently facing, we as students require a different alternative to help us learn anatomy more effectively without having to leave the safety of our homes. This is achieved through the use of applications and websites that can be found on the internet and on our mobile devices. The following are a few examples of tools that I found can be used to enhance learning quality. These tools include applications such as Essential Anatomy and Visual Anatomy Free, and there are also some websites and many other websites that can be found such as Free Anatomy Quiz, Get Body Smart, and 3D4 Medical that provide a multitude of use that will help students overcome their current problems that they are facing during this time of quarantine. Next are the advantages. Some of the advantages that we can get from using these online tools are the fact that they are easy to access and easy to use. Furthermore, some websites and apps provide quizzes for you to test your knowledge. What students could practice is, after studying using these online tools, they can attempt a quiz to further reinforce the knowledge that they just learned. Lastly, while some of these apps may cost money to achieve full functionality, they are very beneficial as they provide full anatomical models of every part of the body, which helps substitute not being able to see real-life models in labs.
Okay, so to sum up, the lungs are organs that are important in the process of breathing and respiration. They are located a little toward the posterior part of the human body and below the collarbone. The right lung is slightly larger and heavier than the left part. They are covered by a thin layer of membrane called pleura. And that's all for our presentation. Thank you.